Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of I'll Hang Up and Listen. I am Duane, your host of Two Goalies, One Mic. Woo! Lot to cover here. We have a remnants of 2011 against the Bruins, blow a 3-1 series lead, this time being against rival, two teams that absolutely hate and despise each other, the Montreal Canadiens. And, what can you say? This was rough to watch. This is a hockey fan. Like, as a Sabres fan, you fucking love it. You absolutely love it, because anything that brings any depravity or just torture to the Toronto Maple Leafs and their fan base is A-okay with us. But as a hockey fan and as also a Sabres fan, it's kind of like, you've been there. We've been through the absolute most misery over the last decade, and we can kind of emphasize or, sympathize with that fan base. And it sucks. It sucks to be a fan of a team that continuously lets you down. And that's what this team has done time and time again. They've let them down. And I can't say it enough, man. It sucks to be a Leafs fan tonight. But as a hockey fan, as a fan that just watches from the outside, and Toronto has essentially been, they're kind of like the New York Yankees of hockey, the team everybody hates. Whether it's because of the fan base and their cockiness, preaching about cups from 1967, cups that, they weren't even alive when they were won. You love to hate on this team because of things like that. But at the same time, it's just like, how much are the hockey gods just going to continuously shit on this fan base? It's gotta suck, man. It's that's terrible. And I feel for you guys tonight, man. I really do. I genuinely feel for you guys. I'm not here to sit here and I'm not here to try and give you a shoulder to cry on, but I do feel for you guys. That sucks. And, with that being said, how are you guys feeling? Like, just in the comments, please let us know, because this is just like, Groundhog Day for you guys. You spend all this money in you spend all these assets at the deadline. You go get Wayne Simmons. You'll get Jumbo Joe Thornton. This was a likable team almost, because you went out and got a guy like Joe Thornton, who everybody wants to see win a cup. If you're a hockey fan and you don't want to see Joe Thornton win a Stanley Cup, then you're not a real hockey fan, because if there's any guy in the league that deserves it, it's Jumbo Joe. So I don't know what to think, even as a Leafs fan, let alone a hockey fan, because it's like, you love to see them lose, but, you feel for guys like Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza, because it's like, again, Groundhog Day as a Leafs fan. What do you do? How do you fix these things? Just say this is the same thing as us Sabres fans are asking. How do you fix this? Because it wasn't goaltending, if you ask me. You can nail Jack Campbell to the cross all you want for that first goal. This was not goaltending. Not at all. This series was a story of goaltending. The first half of the series, Jack Campbell. The second half of the series, you had Carey Price absolutely standing on his head. Carey Price stole this series from the Leafs. He really did. Absolutely stole this series from the Leafs. But now you have all this money tied up in Marner, in Matthews, in Tavares. And now you finally find a goalie who can perform at a high level for you in Jack Campbell. Now you have to pay him. Not a ton of money, I don't think, but you're going to have to pay him. Where do you fix the issue? Where is the issue? You're paying William Nylander a ton of money. It's insane. So I'm going to be joined here by producer Steve. Producer Steve, obviously you are, like most hockey fans right now. We have a ton of
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Matthews and Marner combined for $20 million, and Skinner would put up more postseason goals. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that, but that is the story. You got one goal out of Marner's and Matthews in this series, and that is unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable, especially for guys who have letters in their jerseys. That cannot happen.
I don't feel too bad for the Leafs fans either. But also, my favorite headline from tonight: former Sabres center Eric Staal had a multi-point night to end their series, and that is just after the Leafs spent the offseason acquiring the trash from our depth that didn't work and thought maybe it'll work here in getting Simmons, in getting VC, who's no longer there, in getting Zach Bogosian. And you thought that was the solution. If it's not the solution here, it's definitely not the solution there either. It's just not the solution.
No, it's not. It's,
but that
they did what they had to do, though. That's the thing. Like, they did what they needed to do in the offseason. They brought in veteran leadership. They brought in terms
Jumbo
of
Joe.
leadership, in terms of a guy to look up to in the locker room. They brought in the guy. They got him in Joe Thornton. Like, who else was there to go get? It was Joe Thornton.
Yeah,
it was something
that move I am not criticizing. Jumbo Joe can be a part of any team, and I will be a fan. Jumbo Joe is he's an all around good guy. He could wear a Bruins jersey. I wouldn't care. I would like the guy. I'd still like the guy.
It's wild, man, because like that was the biggest knock on them last offseason. It was like, you need to bring veteran leaders in here because these kids are immature. They're too young. They don't know how to win. Well, you brought those guys in, and you still lost in dramatic fashion. Like, I say it all the time about the Buffalo sports, is we don't just lose, we make it an art form. Well, that's what the Toronto Maple Leafs have done for so long. You make it an art form.
This series was that loss this year by the Sabres where they had a 3-0 lead against the Flyers, and they could have ended their losing streak. And in Dahlin's direct quote, it's like, we basically just caved under the pressure of having a lead. We didn't know how to deal with it, and then we just flubbed. And then they lost the whole game, like in the third period, and I think it went to overtime, and they immediately scored on like Allmark or something. And this was that on the grandest, most leafiest scale it could have been. Like, God, you had it. 3-1. Not even a week ago. It was right there against the Habs, who are like trying out their depth at the real thing, and they outplayed you. Well, Carey Price outplayed you.
Don't take anything away from that Montreal team. They hung in there, man. They played a great defensive.
They fought a good.
Like the shots were extremely like lopsided. The chances were extremely lopsided. I think Montreal handily won the first period, but it was, I don't know. It's like, what do you do? Plus upgrade the defense. Yeah, they definitely need to upgrade their defensive corps. I believe so. I think Brody was a great addition at the deadline, but I think there's a lot more left to be wanted there defensively. For sure. It's Carey Price was the only reason Montreal I agree. But the thing is, you cannot deny the fact that Montreal played a very, very disciplined game. They did. They played a very disciplined game, a very hard to beat game. I'm not saying they played like a Barry Trotz, defensive style hockey like they're playing on Long Island, but they played discipline. And you know what? Carey Price, when he had to come up big, he came up big. But for the most part, they weren't giving insane opportunities up the middle of the ice. They weren't giving up breakaways. They were playing a very disciplined game. And how about, their leaders showing up when, like Brendan Gallagher today, a big goal, first goal of the series, showing up with a big goal. Granted, it was an absolute muffin for Jack Campbell to give up. But at the same, again, Corey Perry, a guy, the villain from Game 1 in Toronto Maple Leafs fans' eyes. I mean, I personally, I don't think he has anything he should be sorry about, other than feeling about what happened with Tavares. But like, at the same time, another veteran guy who shows up, battling hard in front of net, deflects a Suzuki shot in the net, and you have to fully putting the final nail in the coffin on the empty net. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Tavares' injury really did hurt them mentally. But the thing is, you still have so much talent on that team. They should have been able to rebound off that. It's not like they were, without Tavares, they weren't the more talented. They were the more talented team. They were. They have more talent on that roster than Montreal does on theirs. And I'm not bashing Montreal's team at all. It's just a fact.
It's just God, I like, what does Toronto even do in response to this? Like, seriously, like, Like, and this is a question that we've been asking down here in Buffalo. Like, where the fuck do we go from here? Like, how can you have so many pieces that should be going right, going dead wrong? Like, what do you do?
I don't know. That is the question, right? Because they have the talent, they spent the money, they brought in the leaders. Where do you find the answers? That's just a I don't know. I feel for the fan base. I really do. As much as I hate them sometimes, I feel for them because we had Steve DeEngle on Two Goalies with Mike not too long ago, and how can one of the things he says like feel good for me because I've been here through it all. I've been here through all the heartbreak. Just please feel good for me. You don't have to root for us, but feel good for us. If we find a way to win. I feel bad for them right now because it's like Groundhog Day, just like we've experienced so many times. Groundhog Day again. You find ways to lose in an unimaginable fashion. It's unbelievable.
I like the Groundhog Day metaphor that you keep turning to time and time again. But for me, I just whenever shit like that happens, I just hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song start playing in my mind.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just a snowball. It doesn't stop. And then the key changes and it just keeps going. And it's just fucking like it happens to us all the time. So I know exactly what it feels. I know it. It's too good. You had it on Thursday.
It's like a maniacal Joker laugh on repeat over and over again. Being a Leafs fan, being a Sabres fan, it's like we're strapped to a chair in a dark room and we're forced to listen to Jingle Cats on repeat over and over. Because it's
you know what it is. It's the Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at each other. We have the exact same problem, but it's just.
I mean, that's a good question. How good was Toronto? Really, they played in the Canadian division, but they were playing another team in the Canadian division that they should have been able to beat. That's the thing. Like look at that roster. Just look at it. Like Tavares. I know they have Tavares, but Marner, Matthews, Brody, Nylander. You have the best veteran leadership possibly on any team in the league. They should have won that series.
Let's quickly say something nice about Nylander because I'm not diehard in the depths of Leafs Twitter, but the thing I see more often than not that like Nylander is the one that's always on the chopping block, like the get rid of this guy, he's a bum, he's not worth the money, blah blah blah. You got more goals than Matthews and Marner combined. What, you got like 5 goals in this series? So let's all just leave Nylander alone for a second. Like he did more than, like I think he did more goal wise than anyone else on that team this series. So at least in that regard, let's just be nice to Nylander for a split second. We'll get right back to shitting on the Leafs in the regular season, but let's just like again here I'm used to dumping on players when there's need to be dumped on. And with the majority of the Sabres roster, you find a reason to dump on them. They're doing something wrong. That's how you end up last in the league multiple times in a decade. But when you're doing something right, you got to praise it. So that was a good series for Nylander. So I got no qualms with that.
No, he had a great series. And
Campbell. Campbell was amazing. He played an incredible game.
The Buffalo Sabres have won a President's Trophy more recently, and the Leafs have won a playoff series. Now, there's a tweet for you. There's a tweet for sure. I
think we just found the thumbnail.
Yeah, right. It's just to go over the stats of the game here real quick. Obviously, Carey Price with 30 saves and 31 shots. Goals going to Brendan Gallagher and Corey Perry and Tyler Toffoli. Assists. I hate saying that. Eric Stahl with 2, Danault with 1, Gustafsson with 1, and Suzuki with an assist. Toronto Maple Leafs, you had Jackie Campbell with 20 saves and 22 shots. Again, obviously, you'd want that first one back, but I have a hard time putting that on Jack Campbell. I really do. The lone goal from William Nylander, assist going to Jason Spezza. A nice goal from out front, but too little too late.
I mean, again, that reaction after they scored it, it was like
there was no reaction.
Okay, cool.
There was no reaction.
And that I think if you want to define the pulse of where this thing dies, that's it, right? Like a lot of other teams have been down a couple goals in a playoff series, and if you get one late, like unless it's like 10 seconds late and you're still down by 2, like there should be some level of excitement and life brought to your team by that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know, again, it's 90 seconds. It's a long shot mathematically, but it can be done. We've seen it done. It can be done again. It's the fucking playoffs. Literally anything can happen.
You literally got to sell out as much
But even with that goal, that put them within 2. With 90 seconds, they were already defeated.
Yeah, the game was over.
And that is more telling than anything. Like that's like the Sabres getting a goal when they're like down 6-2 in a season where they're like already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. It's like,
yeah, I mean, you aren't wrong.
That's not the reaction you should have in Game 7. Again, no, it's not. I get it. 90 seconds. It's hard to be that stoked, but you got to have a little bit more joie de vivre at that point.
Yeah,
they had already phoned it in. Like that was it. Like Toffoli got it in, and that was it. It was just,
the only disappointing thing for me as a hockey fan is you obviously want to see the best players in the world play in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think we can all be honest here that Toronto-Winnipeg would have been a more engaging series to watch.
100%. From not just a viewership standpoint. Not saying nothing against Montreal fans, but I think Toronto just draws more of a hockey viewership outside of their own market rather than Montreal does. And, obviously there's Austin Matthews. John Tavares probably would have made his return. You see he's been skating.
A lot of recognizable names. Montreal, like their biggest star is Carey Price, and then there's everyone else.
Yeah, honestly.
There are some stars, but like if you're not like deep in the hockey world, like the name like Brendan Gallagher, that's just because it's gonna bounce right off you. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
you mean the guy who smashes watermelons? No, not that Gallagher. Different guy.
No, different Gallagher. I look at Josh Anderson was a big pickup for them. Obviously, Tyler Toffoli was a big pickup for them. They made
absolutely.
But as far as marquee names, that they don't match up to the Marner, the Matthews, Tavares, the even the Nylanders. Like, they don't match up to those names, and those names draw viewerships outside of their own market to watch the games. I mean, look at us. I mean, granted, we're not technically in the Toronto market. We watched tonight. If that was Montreal and Winnipeg, I mean, yeah, maybe I would have glanced at it, but I wouldn't have been as engaged as you said before as we were to this series. It just sucks from a hockey standpoint. I think the NHL themselves would have rather wanted Toronto, considered the hockey mecca of the NHL. You want them to possibly pull that out. In one of the comments, it's objectively hilarious that the Sabres haven't made the playoffs in a decade and yet still have more recent playoff series win than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They are tied for series wins.
God. Oh my God!
Granted, we haven't had the opportunity to win one, but we're still tied.
Wow, that is just wild, isn't it? That is a wild stat. In its entirety. And
yeah.
Oh my God!
God damn it! What a fucking nut. Yo, didn't that Islanders Bruins game get fucking tied?
I think it was tied. Yes.
Okay, hold on. There's some slow motion. Oh no, somebody just. Oh no! Don't tell me Marchand just scored the game winner. I'm gonna be so mad. Ew! You fucking rat.
Wrap up here.
God, he's the worst. Yeah, they're hugging. I think that was the game winner.
We've had a lot of fun with the Toronto fan base this year. It's unfortunate it has to come to an end. I know, people don't like hearing me say that, but I do enjoy engaging with Toronto fans. I've actually made friends with a few. So with that being said, this is our I'll hang up and listen from Two Goalies, One Mike, Duane, and producer Steve. We will catch you guys next time. This has been fun. Be safe, be hardy, and we don't really have a horse in this race anymore as far as who we're rooting for the playoffs.
Go Avs. They spanked the Knights last night.
Yeah.
And again, I'm still kind of salty that the Wild couldn't break their first round curse.
Yeah.
And
Ryan
upset Vegas, but
suspension today too.
2 games. I mean that's more than Wilson got, but I mean, hey, it'll help.
It'll help
for kneeling cool the temperature of this season.
For kneeling on a guy's neck during a game, that was well deserved. 2 games, I guess.
What a cool dude.
But Vander Kane had a funny tweet. The NHL's punishment to the Vegas Golden Knights is that they should make Ryan Reeves play 20 minutes a night. That would be not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh yeah, fucking sub out Ryan Reeves from Mark Stone on the first line. Oh god.
Yeah, but it was Marchand ties it up on the power play. But again, we will see you later. Here's Duane and producer Steve from Two Goalies, One Mike on I'll Hang Up and Listen. Remember to get to manscaped.com. Use code word Trainwreck, all capital letters, TRAINWRECK, for 20% off plus free shipping of your purchase. Get yourself the Lawnmower 3.0 with the built-in plastic guard to help you protect you from all the nicks and cuts. Built-in flashlight to help you with more precise grooming. And, of course, it is waterproof. If you're in a hurry, hot date, got to get a quick shave in, bring it in the shower with you, get it done in there. So, Duane, for producer Steve, this is I'll Hang Up and Listen. You guys enjoy your night, and let's do that hockey.
Let's do it.